Good morning, good people. How are we all today? Last one of the week, thankfully. Anyway, it's Indy Truck Davy on the 31st of the 10th, 2025, out the truck and at home in his office in Salford, North Lanarkshire, where it is currently 8 degrees. It's not bad. Sort of cloudy with gaps in the clouds sort of thing. Humidity is at 94%, wind speeds are 26 to 50 kilometres per hour, or 16 to 31 miles per hour in old money, and the pollen count is irrelevant because there isn't one. Okay, the pollen count is at 0. Right, let's have a wee quick look and see who's in. Hi Mel, hi Spanner McTavish, hi Diane, hey, hi Stephen Bankier, hi Margaret Mackay, hi Kirsty Folds, Alan Duncan. Who else we got? Stephen Nichol, Graham Beanie. Good morning, Ange. Doug. Rosie. Tina. June. John Baxter. Rosie McGregor. Good morning, Christina Mackey. Good morning, Ackies. Good morning, Reagan Week. Folks, Reagan Week goes live right after me. Alistair will drop a link in the comments. Good morning, Carol. Morning, Alex Adam. Wee bird. Good morning, Martin. Good morning, Graham. Good morning, George. Morning, the other Davy. Morning, Liebchen. Morning, Desiree. You be careful on that ladder. Don't want you falling out. Morning, last Braveheart. Morning, Margaret. Morning, John O'Rourke. Good morning, Jane. Eyes on the prize. Morning, David Collins. Tommy Murray. Right, I think I've got you all. Back down the bottom we go. Get your comments up to being current. Okay. Let's see, we've had the weather forecast. Tell you who I am. Let's get on with us. First up this morning, we've got the Rancid. There is only one headline in the papers today, really, folks. But first up's the Rancid, and I'm not going to put the Rancid up because I don't. And that is King Strip's brother of all royal titles, the Andrew formerly known as Prince. Disgraced ex-Duke, also booted out of lavish home in wake of Epstein scandal. I'm going to ease myself into this one, folks. I really am. Because when we talk about rank hypocrisy, we'll get to it. But see, I'm going to ease myself into this one, okay? Right, next up we've got the Scotsman. Let's see what the Scotsman's got for us today. If we can find the bloody thing. Yep, here it's here. And the Scotsman has the same story the rest of them has this morning. King strips Andrew of Prince and Duke titles. So, as I say, there's hypocrisy here, folks, but we'll get there. All right, we will get there, I promise. Right, let's get rid of that nonsense. After the Scotsman, we've got the Scum. And we don't put the Scum up either, and it is royal lost in disgrace. The public, the Andrew, formerly known as Prince. So, if it's the Andrew, formerly known as Prince, and if any ordinary citizen was involved in paedophilia, there would be a police investigation and a prison sentence. Now, so far, Andrew hasn't been investigated, and there has been no court action against him, except for a lawsuit in an American court, which was settled out of court. Keep that in mind, folks. But Charles's actions are not just hypocritical, and we'll get there. They're also a big slap in the face from his brother, Charles, to Andrew, to say you're guilty as fuck, now fuck off. But as I say, there's a big slice of hypocrisy here from the adulterer king. And we'll get there, because this is a theme that's running right through all the rags this morning. All the rags. Andrew, formerly known as Prince. Right, after the scum we have a Guardian. Let's get the Guardian up and see what it's running on this morning. Is it running on the same story? Of course it is. So the Guardian has Andrew to be stripped of his royal titles and must move out of home. So Andrew will be moved from one lavish plush apartment or home into a slightly smaller lush and lavish apartment, probably Frogmore cottage, which Harry spent 2.4 million quid daying up. So apparently his wife Fergie's getting evicted and all, or his ex-wife Fergie's getting evicted and all. As I say, but there is rank hypocrisy in this. There is, from the adulterous king, who has just slapped his brother and made it look as if he's guilty of something which he is not legally in the courts. So, for all I don't like Andrew, I find what his brother did to be hypocritical. And we'll get to why it's hypocritical a wee bit later in the programme. Anyway, next up, we've got the Daily Fail. It's the Daily Fail running on the day. Well, it's not gone on Andrew. It's gone on Rachel Reeves. And it's because it broke the story of Reeves and her renting out of an unlicensed property. Humiliation for Reeves as she changes her story. Now, apparently the estate agent that was letting out the property on behalf of Rachel from accounts is taking the rap for this one, folks. And as I said yesterday, if I was Angela Rayner, I'd be fucking jumping up and down and going mental at this point in time, because it looks like Reeves is going to be protected here. But it is the Daily Fail story, so that's what they run on the day. Now we've got the other loony rag, the Express, and it's back on the pedo prince. And although he's never been found guilty of anything in court, his brothers just slapped him and tell us all that he's guilty. King removes style, title and honours from brother. Right, I've had enough of this shit. I've had enough of this hypocrisy. So let's have a wee look at the man who stripped his brother of style, titles and home. So let me show you the pedo prince Mark I. And his best pal, the UK's version of a fixer for paedophiles. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you King, formerly known as Prince Charles, and his best friend, the UK's version of Jeffrey Epstein, Mr. Jimmy Savile, the man who the state gave the keys to children's homes in England and Northern Ireland. Imagine giving the keys to children's homes to a paedophile. And the man who was given access to children's wards in hospitals at night time. And also the best friend of the adulterous pedo prince Mark I, King Charles. And there he is with the UK's version of a paedophile's fixer, Sir Jimmy Savile. The fucking hypocrisy. And all to protect the office of the monarchy, the position of the monarchy. It's time for down with this paedophile crown. But sorry folks, I had enough of the fucking A rank hypocrisy from fucking Charles, the man who was best friend with the UK's version of Jeffrey Epstein from the 60s, the 70s and the 80s into the 90s. The man the BBC protected, the establishment protected, because he was fixing it for all these people to get a grip of children. And all these children were easily accessed to Mr. Savile because the state gave them the fucking keys. Wow. That's the rank hypocrisy in these fucking headlines. And we're all old enough to remember Charlie and his paedophile friend, the fixer, Jimmy Savile. So when it comes to paedophile princes, Mark I's on the fucking throne. On the fucking throne. And an adulterer as the head of the Church of England is as fucking comical as it gets. That's your moral high barrier, is it, England? That's your moral guidance and leader, is it, England? An adulterous pedo Prince Mark I, formerly known as Prince Charles, now known as King fucking Charles. Paedophile Prince Mark I, two brothers alike. And all above the law. Strip him of his titles. Okay, cops, in you get. He's a private citizen now. Get investigating. Cops. Right, Times. What's the Times go for us? They're saving enough for this fucking hypocrisy for Charles in the mainstream media. Andrew stripped of his prince titles and home. Who gives a fuck? One disgusting sexual deviant strips another disgusting sexual deviant of their fucking titles. Means nothing. Thank you, Ange. Rant. The truth is out there. It's not even hard to fucking research. Wow. Shall we have another wee look at the pedo king? The original pedo prince. Shall we? We'll have another wee look at him. There you go. Here's a pedo fucking Prince Mark I and his best buddy, Jimmy Savile. Look at that. Epstein. Fucking hypocrisy. You couldn't make it up, but they fucking try. Next up, we've got the eye. And what's it go? Well, it's on the same fucking story and all. Sorry, folks, I'm not enamoured with this nonsense. One paedophile and adulterer strips another paedophile and probably adulterer as well of his titles. Andrew stripped of Prince title in historic move to save monarchy. Now there's a fucking truer headline you've never read. Hey, to save a dying institution. To save a dying tax-avoiding criminal family. I hope they move him into one of William's mouldy fucking tiny cottages in the Duchy of Cornwall. Yeah, because that's another royal scandal. People living in royal lodging, tied homes, are living in fucking slums. Pedo Prince Mark I strips Pedo Prince Mark II of his titles, is what that should fucking say. Or King, formerly known as Pedo Prince Mark I, strips Pedo Prince Mark II of his titles. Couldn't he fucking make it up, but the day. And next up, we've got the Tory graph. What's it go for us the day? Well, the Tory graph tells us Andrew no longer prince. Now he'll be known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. There's another fucking notorious paedophile, Mountbatten. Wow. And the rumour is that the reason why Mountbatten was put down was because as Charles's mentor, he was doing a wee bit more to Charles than what he should have. Now, we've been told the IRA put Mountbatten down. Others say it was Philip, the former Prince Consort and husband to Queen Elizabeth, that put him down. That's the same rumour that flew around Diana, Princess of Wales's death as well, Diana Spencer's death. Fucking charming people, aren't they? Two paedophile princes, one paedophile adulterous king and head of the Church of England. You could not make this fucking shite up. You know, no wonder England is a morally bankrupt fucking place where the British experiment has stripped them of their culture and their moral values. Fuck. King nonce and prince nonce, or king nonce strips prince nonce of prince title. Fucking brilliant stuff. Pedos picking on each other in a cesspit of bus. Very well put, Stephen. Very well put. Wonderful stuff. Right, that was the eye. At least the eye was nearer the truth, eh? And the Nationals no own the pedo prince this morning, so we'll get the National up and see what it's got for us. And it says twin wins will oust Starmer. First Minister employed a leader say dual election victories will spell end for Prime Minister. Talks held over Progressive Alliance on independence. Well, as I say, if the SNP day win and the Scottish Parliament is a pro-independence majority, and the Welsh and in Wales Plaid Cymru wins, they're not likely to get a majority, but they might have to go in coalition with somebody. And then, of course, you've got the pro-reunification government in Stormont. Westminster's in for a rough fucking ride, that's for sure. Absolutely in for a rough ride. Right, that was a National. Next up, it should be the Herald, so let's see what the nonsense the Herald's got for us this morning. That's no going on the paedophile prince story either, by the way. One of the few that's no. And this one tells us that shortages hit probe into COVID messaging. And this is a lot of nonsense, folks. This is about text messages being deleted during the pandemic that were made on ministers' phones. Well, do you know, as long as that information was transferred into the public record, which apparently it was, it's no fucking biggie, is it? It's not like Bojo throwing his fucking phone into the river. You know, he said quite clearly and up front, what are you talking about? What are you on about? We transferred our messages according to protocol and then cleaned our phones up. Who doesn't? I'm forever having to delete text messages. Otherwise, there's been no memory left in my phone. And I dare say ministers during the pandemic were exchanging much more messages than I am. Right. So, let's move on for the Herald. Next up's the Metro. What's the Metro got for us today? Well, let's back on Reeves' house gaff haunts Starmer. Nightmare on Downing Street. Well, it is Halloween. Happy Halloween, everyone. Yeah. Absolutely mental. But it looks like Reeves is going to survive it. As I say, if I was Angela Rayner, I would be bouncing up and down and going off my fucking dinger. So I would. I would be bouncing up and doing it and getting off my dinger. Right, let's get rid of that. Okay, that just leaves the one thing, and that's the star. But after the star, I'm going to put up pictures of the Pedo King again, so that when I hold this video, the front page of the video will be pictures of the King with Jimmy Savile. So, folks, what's the star goat for us today? Is that on the Pedo Prince being demoted by the Pedo King? You bet your fucking arse it is. Because there is only one story in town today, and that is Pedo Prince Mark 1 takes titles away from Pedo Prince Mark 2. Now that Pedo Prince Mark 1 is king, adulterer, and Pedo King Mark 1. Good stuff. Anyway, King strips all Andy's titles, the royal formerly known as Prince. He's also booted out of Lodge 2. You're the best, Davey. If only you reported TV news every day, the UK would be a better place. A wee something for the food banks. Well, I don't know if I'm the right person to present the news on mainstream media, because, I tend to say it as it is. And it's not just say it as I see it, I mean say it as it is, because, I've been observing this shit for a long time. And there's a lot of people out there with short memories. Let's put it back for them. That Pedo King, the man formerly known as the Pedo Prince Mark 1, Charlie Boy. I'm going to leave that there as I make my way out the door, folks, just so everybody can be reminded that the adulterer formerly known as Pedo Prince Mark 1, Charles, has stripped Pedo Prince Mark 2, Andrew, of his titles. Now that Pedo Prince Mark 1, Charles, is now adulterer King, Pedo King Charles, head of the Church of England and England's moral bastion and saviour. Think about that, folks. Just think about that. The Pedo Prince Mark 1, the adulterer king, is the head of the Church of England, the very bastion of morality in the country next door. You couldn't make this shit up. You just could not make this shit up. Now, folks of England, you've got to take one good look at this stuff and say, this is our moral leader. Time for us to strip him the way he stripped his brother. Now, you folks have a really nice weekend. I've got some things to get on with this morning. Still waiting a couple of these food banks getting back to me to confirm that they still exist and that their bank details are the same. But I'll get on the phone right after I come off air. And then I've got other things to do today. Friday, for most people, is a busy day. It's no different for me. So you guys have a lovely weekend. We'll be back 10:30 Monday morning to day it all again and rip the piss out of whatever's in the news that day. So from the Pedo Prince Mark 1, now known as King Charles, to the Prince formerly known as Andrew, hit the like button on the way out the door, folks. It helps the algorithm. Thank you all for your kind donations this morning to the Food Bank Fund. I'll get about my duties of administering that fund to those who need it on your behalf. Have a lovely weekend and bye for now.